Hey, welcome back to another episode of Tune Quest. Today we're looking at I Only Smoke When I Drink by Nimino. Kinda goes like this. Okay, so let's get straight into it. There are only 3 chords in this progression, and they go like this. So we start with a G major chord. Now this G major is in its second inversion, which means that the 5th is on the bottom, right? That's G major in root position, and second inversion means that this 5th is actually on the bottom. Now in the left hand, we've got that root, just a G, right? And you can do this as an octave as well. So play it with your pinky and your thumb. The next chord is the next major chord along, so we're on an A root. And our right hand is playing an A major triad, also in second inversion. It's the same deal, right? A major triad, root position, that 5th is on the bottom, so that's what we have. And this is kind of like the passing chord to the 3rd chord in the progression, which is a B minor chord. The same deal. We've got the root note as an octave in the left hand, and the right hand is playing a B minor triad in second inversion. Again, B minor root position, that 5th is on the bottom. And then the last chord in this progression is an F sharp major chord in exactly the same position as all the other chords, okay? Root in the left hand as an octave, F sharp. In the right hand, we've got that F sharp major triad in second inversion. Again, that's root position, that's second inversion. Now, this chord is what makes the progression so interesting, because we go from this chord back to the first chord in the progression, which is actually only a half step apart. It's exactly the same chord, just a half step away, right? Now, if you wanted to know the term of what's going on here, I would call this chromatic planing. I'm not going to get too advanced in explaining this concept, but the whole idea is that you have a chord and a shape and you move it exactly the same chord up a half step. So every note is going up a half step. Do you see that? Now, if you want an exercise to practice with this concept, let's try to find the next chord up a half step. It would be this. And you can move up the keyboard this way using this concept of chromatic planing. We're planing this chord up and down the keyboard. So let's do it again. That is A major, and then again would be B flat major. You get the idea, okay? So this is actually a practice exercise. And it's a really great way to actually practice chord voicings, because these are actually chord voicings that we're playing here. They're different ways to voice the chords that we're looking at. So that's an exercise that you can practice if you wanted to level up your chords and what you can actually do on the keyboard, okay? So let me show you how this progression goes. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. See that? So the rhythm of this, there's only one chord that is a little bit funky with the rhythm, and it's the passing chord through A major, because it doesn't land on the beat. It lands on 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and the and of 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Okay, so that is not super important, but that is what's going on. So I thought I needed to share that with you. Okay, let me show you the synth melody that happens in this tune. It kind of goes something like this. Okay, so first we have B, F sharp, A, B. and then we have the passing chord A up to B minor, and then it goes D, B, C sharp, A sharp. Okay? So that's just playing the melody as an individual note in the right hand. You can also play it with the chords, so that might look something like this. Okay? So that's a little bit trickier, especially when you're doing this B minor to that chord, okay? But with a bit of practice, you can definitely get there. So that is the synth melody going on. But of course, we have the main melodic hook of the tune, right? I only smoke when I drink, which goes like this. Okay, so that's all it is, right? You want to have your hand in this position with your thumb on B, your second finger on D, your third finger on E, and your fourth finger on F sharp. Now we start by descending these notes, and then D, like that, right? And then again, you see that? Now this is an example of question and answer phrasing. I talk about this in some of my TuneQuest videos. So essentially the first phrase poses a question. See, it feels a little bit more open-ended. No. Whereas the second phrase answers it. It feels more resolved. You know what I'm saying? So that's question and answer phrasing. Now, what can we do with the left hand over these chords? Well, firstly, we can just play root notes. G, A, B, F sharp. The next thing that we can do, and I think this will really create the sense of rhythm of the tune, is to pulse between the 1 and the 5 of each chord, like this. So that would be G, A, and then on B would be like this, and then F sharp. So with the melody, it's a little bit hard to play both hands together when you're doing this, so let me do it really slowly so you can really catch this. Okay? Yeah, so that's really going to create a sense of the rhythm of the tune, right? Once you get it up to speed. Okay, so here I'm applying one other left hand pattern that you can use when you're playing these chords as well, which is the root 5 octave 5 arpeggio, right? Root 5 octave 5, root 5 octave 5 on G. On A, just going up because the timing of that is a little bit funky, remember? And then on B, root 5 octave 5, root 5 octave 5, and then F sharp, right? Again. And then you can hold these octaves, play that synth melody, right? Okay, so there are a whole bunch of different ways that you can kind of play these chords, and we looked at an exercise that you can practice if you want to develop some of these chords, and we looked at inversions. So I really hope that you learned something from this episode of Tune Quest. Let me know what you did learn below. I'm interested to see. And thank you so much for watching. Do leave this video a like if you found it valuable and helpful, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye bye.